Oh no.
What happened?
The game froze.
Oh, shit.
Ah, there it goes. And welcome back to Let's Play Martha is Dead. Last time, lots of really trippy and kind of messed up stuff that we learned and
It has
did.
been a while since we recorded.
It's been a bit, not since uploaded, because I've stopped the upload until we were done with the game, but it's been a bit since we last recorded. Last time, our mom was a terrible person. We learned that we are a terrible person, and our dad got shot by the Allies, and we were supposed to die too, but we didn't. We went through Puppet Time Theater. We saw the memory of Giulia being fed her own dog as a punishment. Bad times all around.
Man, that's some deep, dark shit.
Yeah, and apparently there's more.
Oh, no.
But in this episode, we are off to our main objective, which I believe, if I can remember how to do everything, we need to call Don Atelio. So we need to call the priest. So we need to go and ask him what the hell is going on. I also can't see anything. Here, hold on. Lighter. Yeah, there we go. Much better.
It's funny how much that little lighter goes.
Well, to be fair, like, presumably most everything's turned off because of, you know, all the attack that's happening. So I'm wondering if we're even going to be able to contact him. Okay, but we need to call 6938. Yep. 6938. Okay, 6 9. Oh, hey, everything's right there. 3 8. And that should be the priest.
Don Atelio speaking. Who is it?
Father, help me. They're all dead. Daddy, Mummy, everyone.
Giulia, come to me immediately. Don't stay alone. It's dangerous. Come to town. You can stay here with me and we can talk about everything. Okay?
Okay, Father, but first I want to play with my puppets for a while.
Giulia, don't be silly. Come to church right away.
What an unhinged thing to say. Father, they're all dead. Come to the church! I need to play Puppet Time Theater first, Father. What? Goodbye. Alright, let's go back to Puppet Time Theater. And maybe see what more is... I can't interact with Puppet Time Theater. Take the... Wait, what? Go to San Casino. My Puppet Theater is the only thing left. But Puppet Theater's here. Giulia, you must play with Puppet Time Theater. You must unravel the mysteries behind your own psyche.
Do you really have to do Puppet Time Theater right now?
No, I need to get on my bike and head into town. I don't know why she said, I have to do Puppet Time Theater. And then we proceed to not do Puppet Time Theater. So unless we're going to be forced backwards to go and do that.
Are there any more phone calls you have to do?
We already messed up on the phone call achievement, so I'm not even going to bother. So let's go ahead. And... Nope, that's not the run button. That's the run button. Not that it matters. Giulia, you're stuck on the bike. Okay. So going into town. Let's just... Pretty sure... Yeah, just get on the bike and we'll go from there. Okay.
So where do we have to go next?
Town.
Gotta go into town.
Gotta go into town. We also never really checked out the chapel after it got basically blown up. That's fine. We've got more important things to do. Okay, so
Thanks to the heroic assistance of Martha Kay, daughter of General Eric Kay, a mission devised by the partisans to steal weapons from the German army has been put to a stop. The same animals were involved in the killing of the general's other daughter, Giulia Kay. And in an attempt to murder young Martha herself, the vile traitors were executed on the spot. Justice has been served for Italy, for Duce II.
Load.
the puppet theater complete.
Those boys, they had all been killed and it was my fault. They were my age, and a few of them were our friends. I didn't think it would go like that, but wasn't it obvious, really? What was I actually expecting? I felt like a coward. But what could I have done? Should I have betrayed my father?
Didn't you already do
I
that?
loved my father, but I also loved my friend Lapo. Which side was I on? I just listened to my heart. I thought it was the right thing to do. But instead, it was the worst thing I could have done. I didn't go anywhere near the soldiers.
Okay, then we don't
Germans
go that way.
or allies. They had all caused me harm. I didn't want to approach anyone, for any reason.
So what's our goal then? Oh, I can't pull up the thing.
I forgot this game doesn't tell you shit.
Doesn't tell you anything, doesn't tell you anything. Oh, more soldiers that way. Okay. So avoid going to any soldier. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. Can we go in here? Yeah, this must be the priest's house. Or just the chapel. Oh.
Once I
Everybody's
crossed
a
that
marionette.
threshold,
Yep.
I completely lost touch with reality. Everyone around me had died while I survived everything.
Everyone's a puppet. Everyone's a puppet. Everyone's a puppet. Julia is now insane. And then just random autosave. Dearly beloved, we are here today to mourn the loss of Giulia's psyche. Pray that it is gone to a better place. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Ghost. Amen. Into the
It'd be
confessional.
funny. Oh, they're Mormons.
Why would they be Mormons? We're in Italy, not Utah. And now everyone's crucified. Oh no, there's just a lot of crucifixes here.
It's just random shit.
Are they No, I don't think those are all Jesus. I think those are all just random bodies. I think those are all just people being crucified. But yes, there is a difference. Is that Ave Maria's in the background? Like the song.
I don't remember how things went. I just remember a big light and then photographs were being taken of me. There was a man dressed in white, a doctor, I presume. He was asking me questions, but I didn't understand what he was actually asking me. He wrote something on a piece of paper and then 2 nurses led me away.
She
was
got
in
sent to
the
the
mental
loony
asylum.
house. Yep.
Some women were talking to themselves. Others cried. Some were even covered in their own filth. Others were violent and tried to hurt themselves any way possible. They started to give me injections. What they gave me made my whole body shake.
That's
I
freaky.
broke my vertebrae
Look at
and an
this.
ankle. I think it was called cardiazole or something like that.
Oh, all their faces are
My
like that
body
now.
was like a fire that didn't want to be put out. When it appeared to be quenched, it would come back, even stronger than before. In the end, though, they won. There was no longer any need for therapy. Something inside of me had died. But nevertheless, I insisted on carrying along this painful journey. I was stronger than I could ever have imagined.
Okay, now we're actually going at a somewhat normal speed. And there's also...
There's a door.
There's a door over here. Only thing that isn't a marionette with a distorted face that has comedy and tragedy, and a cross. Or cameras. Let's go to the creepy door. What's behind the creepy door in this endless void? A chair. We are now the marionette.
Who are you? Wait, wait. I want answers. Don't go away. Talk to me about Martha, please.
I am Martha.
Martha is dead.
Oh, there it is. There's
Title
there's
drop.
The title.
We gotta do title drop. Oh wait, left stick, not right.
Martha is dead. I killed her to take possession of her life. I will never find peace for what I have done. I feared that would be the case. And what about Mummy?
She is also dead.
Mummy is dead. Nobody knows that better than I do, unfortunately. It's useless to try and deceive ourselves. Did I do what I think I've done?
Only one response.
Yes, damn it. It really happened. I cut her into pieces and buried her under the bridge. God, all that blood. My God, I knew it. What about Daddy? The soldiers? Did that really happen?
Yep, shot him right in the head.
It happened. He was shot right in front of me. Fear, pain, shame. I can't remove it. I cannot relive it either. Unfortunately, I knew that already. What about Nanny?
Everyone is dead.
She's dead. I do not know. She is fine.
She got bombed. We were told that through exposition earlier.
Poor Nanny. She really had nothing to do with it. But she died in our villa due to the bombings. We saved ourselves for some time by taking refuge at her house. Privileges for being rich. Feelings don't count for much, though. My poor Nanny. I'm afraid to ask about Lapo.
Doesn't matter who you know, they are all dead. Lapo doesn't exist. Yeah, kind of hard to refute that with that dead baby we pulled out.
I wonder if it could have been symbolic.
Might have been, but regardless.
Lapo is dead. He was blown up by a landmine. He got into trouble and paid with his life. My dear friend. Poor boy. Just as I remembered, unfortunately. One last question. The pregnancy?
I was pregnant.
That was Martha.
There was no pregnancy.
Yeah, Martha was the one that was pregnant, which is why she staged the whole thing. Or actually... Here's the thing. Giulia is an unreliable narrator. So, I'm trying to think... It definitely wasn't her that was pregnant. So it was either Martha or there was no
I wouldn't be afraid if Giulia was pregnant, but then Martha took the blame.
I don't think so, because we literally carved out a...
Like I said, that
But
could have
again-
been symbolic.
Again, I know it could have been symbolic, but it's definitely not Giulia at any rate. Maybe we're just overthinking this, because everything else has been pretty self-explanatory. And at least in the eyes of Giulia, Martha was the one that was pregnant, and she decided to be the fall guy for everything that happened. The problem that I'm coming up with is that it turned out that it wasn't the mother who killed Martha. That was Giulia that killed Martha. So that's the only thing that's been inconsistent. I am wondering if I'm overthinking this. Because it could have just been Giulia being just... I
think you're...
Am I thinking too hard on this?
I think you're putting too much thought into something.
Alright, we'll go with...
That could be symbolic.
Now I'm even more confused. Was it symbolic or was it not? Was it all in Giulia's head or was Martha really pregnant? Do we take Giulia at face value because we know she's an unreliable narrator? Because that's the thing that... Maybe I'm just having my Phoenix Wright moment in here where it's like there's a contradiction here because... There was the note that was written. And the fact that Martha also sounds like Giulia. But that could have also been Giulia who did it herself. Considering that she was the one who actually killed Martha. Not her mother. The original story we were told was that Martha wrote the note to Giulia, expecting her mother to take it out on her, as she disguised herself as Giulia. That's not what happened, though. Because Martha ended up being killed by Giulia.
Martha got killed by Giulia. I thought it showed that the mother killed Giulia, or did Giulia put that in her head?
That was Giulia doing it in her head. When we did the photo, we saw that it was Giulia that killed Martha.
But she dressed in her mom's clothes?
No.
I'm confused.
I know, it becomes a real big clusterfuck when Giulia becomes an unreliable narrator. So that's what I'm kind of confused at right now. It's like, was that part actually real? Or was that all in Giulia's head? Because the pregnancy is the point that it gets to be very unreliable. It definitely wasn't Giulia. I'm not even sure there's actually any actual consequence for this. Because, yeah, we saw mother died, Martha's dead, dad is dead, Nanny's dead, Lapo's dead.
Everybody's dead.
Everyone's dead. We all saw that. We all know what happened. Regardless of who killed what, when. But the pregnancy is the one thing that I'm not sure of because, again, that's when Giulia's gets really wibbly-wobbly in terms of the timeline. So was the pregnancy all just a fabrication within Giulia's mind? Or did that actually happen? I don't remember if... Well, the mother still came down to the lake.
It says, Martha also confesses to having been pregnant with Lapo's child. She lied to Irene, which was the mom. That was Giulia who was pregnant.
Yeah.
So that Martha could pretend to be. Society discovers Giulia was pregnant with the real Concerned Society blames Romeo and suspects Romeo of killing Martha.
Who the hell's Romeo?
Oh, I'm probably looking at something else. No, it says Martha's dead. They keep saying Julia was the one that was pregnant.
Giulia was the one?
Turns out she was pregnant with a two-headed fetus, which was removed from her body.
But that was what we removed in the chapel scene from Martha.
People are saying that's like she miscarried. You remember when she bled on the bed? So maybe she was pregnant, but she had it could have been a miscarry.
Okay.
Because the baby was deformed, and I guess it couldn't.
And that did happen. The heavy bleeding did happen.
And there's a possibility that Martha, this is my theory, Giulia found out she was pregnant, she confided in Martha. Martha technically took the blame that she was pregnant and pretended to be Giulia, so Giulia wouldn't get hurt. But then the mom thought Martha was Giulia who was pregnant and killed Martha instead.
No. We know for a fact that Giulia killed Martha. We know for a fact. We have photographic proof that Giulia killed Martha. That part was completely made up in Julia's mind.
I think Giulia was pregnant, and that's probably why she bled, and she didn't know why she bled. I think it's because she had a miscarry, because the baby was already deformed and was not healthy, so it just passed through her body anyway.
So do we say that I was pregnant then?
Yeah, just say I was pregnant. What's worse can happen? I highly doubt it.
But then I had a miscarriage.
See?
So much blood that morning. And my mind decided that things had gone differently. Who knows what else I was hiding? That's enough now. All of these questions are pointless.
I honestly completely forgot about that.
It's
the miscarriage and the heavy
inside
blood
of
scene.
us.
It's been so long.
She had her period in the bed?
Yeah, I completely forgot about that.
Is it not all just the reflection of an unknowable existence?
Kind of the problem when you started this back in
Nothing more
October
than a
and it's now
puppet show.
the end of March.
Yeah, next year. We started this in October?
Yeah, the whole point was this was the spooktacular.
Holy shit, it's been months.
Ready for everything with open arms. Even ready to kill.
Okay.
Legs always ready to run. The womb that conceived in sin. Lastly, the mind. To protect us, it has turned us into monsters. Either way, we cannot live like this, can we? I'll take care of it. I don't need to worry. I'll try to sleep if I can. I've got this.
Are we going to be crucified?
I don't remember how this ends. It's either she's in the loony bin or she kills herself.
Whatever. Why not both?
I think she kills herself.
Cuts, yeah. I honestly thought with the crosses that it would be crucified, but...
On the 26th of July, San Casciano was bombed and the church was destroyed. But I was not there then. I was already in the asylum. Once again, stubbornly, I was not dead. The bombs hadn't killed me, and I had also survived myself. The most absurd test and the hardest one. The war ended some time ago now, both out there and inside of me. I was on the wrong side of the gate, but now I can turn that page. Life is opening its doors again, isn't it? If I hadn't been so lucky to survive myself, I would have thrown everything away. We think that danger is all around us, ready to attack. But the more devious and misleading dangers are the ones that are inside of us. They grow without us realizing. They make us suffer, remain confused, and remove our self-respect. I would have wanted to ask for help, but I was alone. This is my story. Thank you for being here, for listening to me. Now I am ready to leave. How long will it take to get home?
Death.
Fortunately, today it's possible to ask for help and receive it, even if you are alone, even if we are desperate, even if it feels like that life doesn't even make sense. If it feels like there's nothing left for us, it's only because we have no longer see it. There is always something to live for, something great that could be around the corner.
If you know someone who's suffering from depression, reach out.
If someone yep.
Yep. So anyway, this appears with the achievement called Death.
Did she kill herself? Or
No.
I feel like
she survived.
Oh, that sucks. It's like she wants to die, but she can't.
No, I think with her time in the asylum, that's what the last bit there.
She straightened herself out.
Yeah.
She came to terms. Because I think I feel bad for Giulia, because I feel like Giulia was just a victim of circumstance. Her mother mentally fucked her up really bad.
Yeah, and by the way, this has been Let's Play Martha is Dead. Been a while. Been very long while. Lots of breaks.
Yeah, I feel like her mother really did play a big role, and she had so much disdain for her mom, and her mother was the one who was mostly causing all this problem. And her father knew what was going on, but he just took the back seat and let shit happen.
He was also pretty busy with
he was
the
never
war.
Home. He was never home, and her mom was always abusive. Because she had a narcissistic bitch for a mom.
I guess the war wouldn't exactly help in the childhood because World War II wasn't happening at the time during her childhood. But anyway, what did you think about the game?
It's one of those games where it gets you thinking.
I think one big criticism that I have is that the game is incredibly artsy.
Yeah.
And the big problem with it is that it basically trades realism for entertainment. Fun, basically. Everything is as realistic as you possibly could be, with the exception being the photos. They made it straight up said that we've streamlined this photo process. But everything else, for better or worse, was realistic. You had no fast travel. You had to manually walk everywhere.
You had to do the freaking
Morse code.
Morse code.
God, that still sucked. I mean, granted, that was optional. We didn't need to do that.
It was very realistic game.
Yeah, but
put you in the shoes of somebody in World War I.
Two.
Oh, two. I'm sorry.
But the problem with that is that a lot of that just wasn't fun. There's no markers.
So you're
really...
saying it could be so realistic, it's not fun.
That's the kind of the problem, is because a lot of the indicators that you can interact with was really tiny, and you had to be face mashed against it to see that you could even interact with it. That's why I feel so many games kind of have like indicators to really clearly indicate that, hey, you can interact with this. Because then you have the opposite like this, where it is nearly impossible to tell what you can and cannot interact with. And that's just one of the major issues. Another big issue that I have was just the storytelling as well. Just because the instant Giulia becomes an unreliable narrator, that's when I kind of feel the story breaks a little. Just because it's like, so then what actually happens? And I guess on one hand, it does show you the mind of someone who isn't mentally there, and that can still reach out to people. We got 93%. Aw, yeah. The only thing we missed were the phone calls.
Yep.
So, I mean, I suppose maybe that's just a way that it's just a story that doesn't really connect to me personally, just because I am a fan of being able to follow a story, and when you have that unreliable narrator, there are people who can relate to that, whether they've dealt with issues that Giulia has in the past, or people who know someone like Giulia who's dealt with issues like that. I think the problem personally with me is that I have not known someone like that, and I'm coming from an outside perspective of just a story. And that's where it gets complicated, because then you have an unreliable narrator, and then everything gets mushy, and then it also draws into question, well, what else have we been lied to? What else has been fabricated to us, the player, the viewer, whatever? So, from a storytelling perspective, that gets a little bit frustrating, because now I don't know if everything we know has been a lie or not. If everything's just been fabricated, or if that actually happened, and it takes you out of the story. Again, maybe that's just because this isn't exactly a story for me. That is entirely possible. But yeah, so it's an alright game. Normally I go like, oh yeah, this was a great game. This is, I think, one of the few times on the channel that I'm like, And even then, like, it's not because it's like horror. The game isn't really a horror game. It's suspense. But it's not really the genre itself that makes me iffy. It's just the attention to detail, which doesn't make it the most enjoyable experience, and that taking out that makes me, as someone who maybe can't relate to Giulia, it takes me out of the story. So,
I kind of relate, because she also deals with depression and anxiety and trauma.
So that might be something that you might be more attuned to and can more relate to. But for me personally, and I know I said, oh, I don't know anyone like that. You are not someone who has gone through the mental breaks and just complete fabrication of reality that Giulia has.
No, but I have done bodily harm before, like
yeah.
she does.
Yeah, so, yeah, on that end, you can relate to Giulia on that end. So maybe you would find a better connection to her than I can. But to someone who basically just completely changes their whole memory and their whole reality to protect themselves from trauma like that, that is not someone that I have known or could relate to. And maybe that just means that this isn't the story for me. But still, it is a game that is out there.
Well, we could always, we could try, another game you might like.
Well, that'll be a time for the future. But thank you all for sticking with us. Again, a lot of breaks. It took a lot longer than we both of us figured, especially with all the breaks thrown in, just because trying to get together and getting Chaotica motivated to do it as well. Next game that we do together will be a bit shorter. But hopefully one that we can do in one sitting, so we don't have this issue again. But that'll do it for today. So, until next time, everyone, take care.